The early pioneers describe a Sugar Creek much different than today. From its glacial beginnings until the 1850s, Sugar Creek was a clear, deep, swift-running watercourse, crowded with fish of all kinds.
At John Stitt's mill below town on Sugar River, there was a fish trap. And in one night we caught 900 fish, the first spring we was in the country, 18 and 25. Most of them was pike, walleye, bass, and perch. Some of the biggest pike and walleye measured 2 to 4 foot long and weighed from 12 to 25 pounds. Jacob Cox.
By 1860, the great dense woodland that covered Montgomery County was all but gone, having been clear-cut with the axe and plowed under. The loss of such trees with their endless root system that held back soil erosion led to the shallowing of Sugar Creek, as topsoil washed away with each rain from the newly cleared land, ending up as a building layer of silt on the creek bed. Montgomery County pioneers removed the old-growth forests to develop some of the richest farmland in the state, but the farming methods of the early 19th century paid little attention to soil and water conservation. Crop rotation and livestock pasturing practices were not yet fully accepted or understood, and there was little thought given to the long-term effects of land usage on the Sugar Creek watershed, which stretches well beyond the county lines, draining the entire west-central portion of the state. While the waters of Sugar Creek were serving the needs of a growing agricultural community, a much rarer natural resource was catching the attention of those in the scientific community of the 1800s. Long before the glaciers that created Sugar Creek came, about 350 million years ago, Montgomery County was covered by a shallow inland sea. Living among prehistoric sharks and shellfish in this underwater environment, a little plant-like animal known as the crinoid thrived here. It resembled a starfish turned upside down, with a stem attached to its back, reaching down to the seabed. As geologic ages passed, the seafloor that held the crinoids turned to stone, and the so-called sea lilies became fossils. When Sugar Creek appeared and cut its way through layers of solid rock, its waters uncovered remarkable crinoid fossils. Crawfordsville resident Edmund Hovey and his son Horace began collecting crinoid fossils along the creek in the 1830s and 40s. Collecting crinoids soon became a commercial enterprise. By the early 1900s, elaborate crinoid mining operations were being conducted along Sugar Creek to locate the rare and valuable specimens. Good examples of the fossils remain valuable to collectors today. Sugar Creek crinoids are considered to be among the finest examples ever found. Fossils from Montgomery County are a part of collections at Harvard, Yale, and the Smithsonian Institute, as well as universities and museums throughout the world. The 19th century saw Sugar Creek provide both the oldest and newest of gifts. While crinoids were being mined along its banks, Sugar Creek waters began lighting up the lives of Montgomery County residents by helping to power the state's first city-owned electric company. Crawfordsville Electric Light and Power brought electricity to the county seat in 1891. 16 years later, the Indianapolis, Crawfordsville, and Western Traction Company built its own electrical plant on the creek to power interurban rail cars to and from Indianapolis, small Montgomery County towns along the route, and the Crawfordsville streetcar system. Though the old interurban powerhouse is gone, without the water of Sugar Creek, CEL&P would be powerless, leaving today's Crawfordsville residents in the dark. The industrialization of America changed our society in many ways, including the way we think about recreation and leisure time. By the 1890s, though most Montgomery Countyans were still farmers, factory and commercial service jobs had pushed Crawfordsville's population to 12,000. Urban living, even in a small country town, meant more free time, at least on Sundays, if not Saturdays as well. Sugar Creek was a natural solution to those looking for a place to play. Besides fishing, swimming, hiking along the creek at Bluff Mills, known today as Pine Hills, or in the Shades of Death, today's Shades State Park, there was also boating by canoe, rowboat, or even steamboat. At least 2 steamboats plied the waters of Sugar Creek in the early 1890s and 1900s. The Rock River Belle and the Sunday Maid were pleasure craft, built to provide local residents with scenic excursions up and down the creek. Recreation opportunities grew with the 20th century as commercial lodges and cabins developed creekside, along with community parks. One example was Riverside Park at Darlington, where band concerts, ice cream socials, Sunday picnics, and family reunions were held each weekend from May to October.
I used to have a camp group that I ran in the summers in late 30s, and the kids camped out there. They still talk about it, though they're 70 years old. I used to have a Sunday school class that we took out every Sunday afternoon, just hiking along the river, the creek, down where the Clouser property is, what you'd call the Fiery Cross, down the Pine Hills, over on the other side, below the Shades. Boy Scout, for our 14-mile hike, we'd go down past Camp Rotary. It wasn't Camp Rotary then. Walk back. That was the 14 miles down one side and back the other. Everybody's been using this creek, and I think enjoying it. And I'm just happy that there are as many canoeists now using it, including a lot of people from out of state. Now that doesn't help the economy of the state of the county very much, but it sure doesn't hurt it any either. They're apt to buy supplies. You know, they're going to rent a canoe in Gregwood. They're probably going to buy some gas before they go home, and all that adds up.
I've been coming here for about 8 years and have really enjoyed it a lot all throughout the different seasons. And it's a beautiful place to come. It's only about 3.5 hours from Chicago, and it's growing. It's very nice. Yeah, we really enjoy coming here. This is the first time for these guys of being here, and I think definitely they'll probably be back. Am I correct?
Oh yeah.
The nature and the wildlife is definitely here in this part of the state, and it's something that everyone needs to get out and get away from the stress of some of the city lives and get out here to relax and enjoy ourselves.
Should we all sing Kumbaya now?
Kumbaya. I'm just supposed to say cut.
Sugar Creek continues to provide us with an invaluable natural and recreational resource all year long. The floods of early spring provide a wide-eyed wake-up call from winter to county residents. Once the water has dropped below the danger level, the first paddlers of the year set out to enjoy the high water rapids. Sugar Creek is one of the most popular Indiana streams for canoeing. Its gently swift waters, beautiful natural scenery, and historic structures appeal to many. The canoeing season officially begins each year with the Sugar Creek Canoe Race. Sanctioned by the United States Canoeing Association, this race has offered avid paddlers the challenging spring waters of April since 1963. Canoeists from all over the United States, including former Olympic champions and future hopefuls, come to Montgomery County to kayak and canoe the 10 and 16-mile courses.